coming back?
Feel pretty good. Pretty good. Another good day. Really good day. And it's a little stiff right now after 3 hard days of work. So just going to rest it and see if I can't get another good training session in tonight.
What is your dream scenario for your return?
Yeah, just come out and win the game.
Are you looking to Sunday like a lot of other people are looking towards now, or do you even know in the back of your mind?
Well, I'm trying. I mean, we got to see how it feels tonight. I'm gonna try to get another hard session in, and then tomorrow morning try to push it again, and same thing tomorrow evening, and just continue and just keep on measuring it.
Kobe, what's going better for you that allowed you to get through 3 practices this time as opposed to 2 this time?
Yeah, I think my range of motion is a lot better. Where it's not after the first day or so, last time I practiced, my range of motion became restricted. Everything kind of locked up, and I wasn't able to run and change directions and sprint like I really wanted to. I don't feel like I have any limitations really. I mean, it's the change of gear is not quite where I want it to be, but it's easy. It's easy to compensate through that and go out there and be effective.
Practicing that you want to hone in on a bit more?
Well, getting the rhythm under my legs in terms of being able to stop on a dime, raise up, shoot, and getting your kind of your game legs underneath you where you can shoot a jump shot comfortably.
Kobe, with the last 3 days, personally, are you happy with where you're at right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm pleased. Yeah.
When you say range of motion, are you talking about the Achilles or the range of motion of the rest of your body from basketball conditioning?
No, it's the ankle joint. That's the thing that's been restricted for so long. You're talking about months of immobility. So it's you got to work through that a little bit. There's still some scar tissue in there that needs to be broken up, and that's done through movement and through manual therapy and mobilizations. So
We often hear basketball game shape. Can you define that for you? Will you know when you're in game shape?
Well, yeah. Well, you have your legs underneath you is the best way to describe it. So there's a conditioning aspect to it where I feel like I'm 100% in proper stamina and condition and run all day and run at a high speed. Basketball shape, you're involved in a lot of plyometrics and changing directions, and then you have to gather yourself to be able to shoot the ball. And that's kind of like getting your sea legs, sort of.
How would you describe your explosiveness?
No, it's I'm not jumping through the gym by any means, you know what I mean. But it's not. I don't need to be able to do that in order to be a great player.
You've been watching these new teammates since September, and now you've had a chance to, over the course of the last couple of weeks, play with them on the court. How do you feel your game is their game, vice versa?
I love their competitive spirit. Our practices have been really competitive, and we've really gotten after each other. It fits very well because they're excellent in moving without the ball and finding cuts and crevices and cracks, and have a great deal of speed and athleticism. So now in these last 3 days, we're just kind of getting them to think the game all the way through and seeing what's in front of them defensively, and then us communicating how to take advantage of the defense that's in front of us. So there's the mental aspect to it that I feel like is where we need to go.
How much have you missed the competition, Kobe?
Oh man, I miss it a lot. I mean, it's fun getting out there and playing and going up and down and challenging and winning and losing and bouncing back. I mean, that's fun stuff.
Is there definitely a different level of practice with you there this week?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been out on the floor and watching practice too much, aside of a couple of times. I mean, most of the time when I'm out on the floor practicing, I'm working. I'm in the weight room and I'm working in the training room with Judy Cito, so I don't get a chance to see it too much. But from what I hear, it's been a little different.
Several of your teammates have talked about how you're passing at a higher level. When you were rehabilitating before you could put pressure, is that something you were working on, or where is this coming from?
It's no different than how I finished the season last year, the second half of the season, and what I had to do there, and being able to facilitate and score when the defense dictates. So it's no different.
Kobe, you talked about the way this team is progressing and how much you like this team. I would imagine a perfect example of that is what you do off the floor, like when you had the ping pong games that you got for competing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guys are competitive, man, and so I enjoy being around competitive people. We can just sit around and just talk trash all day and compete and talk more trash afterwards. So it's fun.
And of course, it makes it easier.
He's a great guy. I mean, all of them are. Jody and Wes and and X. And I mean, all the guys are extremely competitive, have high motors, and it's easy to get under each other's skin and have a good time doing it.
With that, have you seen them being able to handle your trash talk as you're practicing with them?
Well, I mean, I don't really have much of a choice,
Yeah.
you know. But they're starting to try to dish it back out, you know. So when they score or they win, they start talking trash to me, and we just keep going back and forth, and it makes for a fun practice.
You didn't bobble that ball, did you?
No, hell no, no.
You guys are a
He still lost.
You guys are a little tended point guard right now just because of injuries, and obviously you play facilitator mode, but would it be a strict kind of point position at times for you when you're out there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd be more of the push man, obviously, just getting up and down, and it's honestly it's no different than how I played my entire career, really, and just handling the ball and getting us into stuff and pushing it.
Cole, when you come back, are you going to be limited time-wise? I mean, are you going to come back and just be the same old? I mean, or are you limit your minutes? Or?
Probably. Like I said, we talked about getting the sea legs. You know what I mean? And it's, it takes some time to do that. That's why we have preseason games, and that build to the regular season. It just takes a while, no matter how much running and conditioning you do. It's to get out there and play is different. So, I'm sure they'll be limited in some capacity.
Kobe,
For
what's going
some-
to tell you that it's the day? Will you wake up game day, talk to Judy and Gary? You think? How do you envision that?
Yeah, well, it's just a constant progression. I mean, I've really pushed it harder than I've pushed it the entire time this week. And aside from the practices, I do my own weight training sessions and running and all this other stuff after this. So, it's quite a bit of work. And I get up in the morning. When I go to bed at night, the foot's normally pretty sore. Then I'm like, I don't know if I can practice the next day, and I wake up the next day and the foot feels good, and I start doing some therapy sessions and feel strong, and then I get out and I practice, and then it gets sore afterwards. I rest it, I run, sore again, you know what I mean? And you wake up strong. So you just kind of just wait and see.
Okay, Kobe, for someone who's always spent his whole career trying to monitor his body, what do you notice when you went up against Steve Nash and now being a teammate, just as far as how he goes about doing that day to day?
It's it's funny. I mean, we approach it a lot the same way. I mean, it's not necessarily you're not killing yourself doing the workouts, but the brilliance comes in the consistency of him, and he's extremely consistent. So every day he's doing what he needs to do to get his body on track, and so. I think that's the biggest lesson for kids to understand and to learn is that you don't have to go out there and kill yourself, 5 hours, but it's doing an hour every single day, and it builds up.
Staying here tomorrow or going up?
No, I'm staying here. I'm not going up to lovely Sacramento.
Kobe, is it a matter of strength with the ankle, or is it
Endurance.
Flexibility?
It's endurance. It's endurance, right? It's muscle endurance. So when it gets tired, and the joint stiffens up, all of a sudden, shots flatten out, get stiff, can't move. Then you start injuring other areas. So that's something that we've been monitoring this entire time, and the endurance of it seemed to be pretty good. I mean, it's a little stiff right now. I'm sitting here talking to you, so I gotta go in and get it worked on. Then we just go from there.
Have you been a concern or even a possibility that coming back a day or two early could undo months of work that you put in?
Probably, but if that was the case, then I'd just sit down and miss another 3, 4, 5 games. You know what I mean? You got to really be smart about it. It's in perfect case scenario is that we get it right the first time. But if it's not, you have to be smart about it as well, and take a step back and build up the strength and say, listen, it's not as ready as we thought it was going to be. So let's take a step back. Let's get it to where we want it to be, and then try again.
Kobe, as you've gone through this process with rehabbing, how have you noticed just your recovery evolve the day after in terms of how it feels from the previous day's activities and all that?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels stronger this morning, than it did yesterday, before practice. So, and it's less sore now than it was after the last practice. So, that's progression.
Is there a mental aspect to this? I mean, confidence-wise, in terms of you being able to really push off of it?
No. I test it and I push it pretty hard. And, I'm able to go and put my body on guys and go by them and get into the paint, things like that. But, my sea legs aren't there yet. So, the pull-up jump shots and the fadeaways and things like that, my sea legs aren't quite there yet to be able to do that. But the skill is there. I've worked on them quite a bit. And the strength is there, so now it's just trying to get those game legs.
There's the other aspect of it. You'll be so glad when you do come back, so we'll have to stop asking you about when you will come back.
Well, no, because then you're going to ask me how I feel. And it's going to be that every single day, you know what I mean? So.
In terms of the leadership dynamic of the team, does that change with you coming back and being around more than you have been?
No, not really. I mean, Powell's has been extremely vocal, more than I've ever seen him. Since I've been out, and we needed that from him, and he'll continue to do that. My job has always been to challenge and to push, and to elevate kind of the competitive spirit of the team. And so no, I've always kind of been lurking in the background and cracking the whip from a distance.